This NFL update, sponsored by the Fantasy Sports Combine, really exciting. We'll tell you about that in a second. In the meantime, Robert Kraft, Woody, is backing down. He has told all of us in a news conference at the owners' meetings just a few minutes ago that he will not challenge the punishment handed to the New England Patriots by Commissioner Roger Goodell. He will not challenge the loss of the first and fourth round draft picks. He will not challenge the $1 million fine. He will not challenge the 4-game suspension given to Tom Brady. We'll talk about Brady in a second. But as far as Kraft goes, there was a lot of back-channel negotiating with the commissioner. This is what Kraft has decided. Are you surprised at all?
Yes. I'm going to say yes. That's a question I wasn't expecting. Am I surprised? Yes. I thought that something would go on during the meetings, and I said it on the show yesterday, that they would reach some kind of agreement over all of it. And I think people were drawn in by, they're not going to challenge this. Brady's going to be out 4 games. No, Brady's still challenging this.
Yes, he is.
So there's several thoughts I have. Number one was Kraft throwing Tom Brady under the bus like Belichick did? Because Belichick, when he was interviewed after the AFC Championship, said, well, this is all about Tom. I don't have anything to do with the footballs. Well, Kraft saying, well, we worked out our differences with the NFL. He didn't mention Tom Brady, but does that leave Brady out there on an island by himself to do his own thing? That we've decided to take all the punishment, met it out to us. I believe that there's a guy involved in this process that doesn't get much credit for what goes on in the New England Patriots.
Who's that?
Jonathan Kraft. People don't realize Jonathan Kraft really does run the day-to-day operations of the New England Patriots. I mean, Belichick, we know, makes all the decisions. Jonathan Kraft, I met 7, 8, 10 years ago, about that. And he was just an eager young kid who'd say, I love you on Around the Horn. I love you on Around the Horn. So he grew up as a big sports fan and loves watching ESPN. So I think that Jonathan Kraft was the guy doing the back channel with the
commissioner's people.
Yeah, not the commissioner, but their people, and Jonathan Kraft got together and said, here's what I think happened. We will not upset the NFL balance of ownership accepting what punishments meted out. But
because it really would have opened a Pandora's box.
If we do that, will the commissioner agree to cut Tom Brady's punishment in half or totally? So I think the old cliche, one shoe's fallen. We're waiting for the other shoe to fall, and that will be what happens. Is there a way it can be worked out where Tom Brady doesn't have to admit that he was culpable?
Yeah.
And they say, we're going to, because of all the circumstances, we're going to change it to 2 games or 1 game or no games and fine you $500,000 or something. So I think that's what could be coming down, or it plays out, but we now know that Kraft is not going to take the NFL to court. The franchise itself is no longer involved.
And let's talk about why. Robert Kraft is a very good friend of the commissioners. He's one of the commissioners' greatest supporters. And Robert Kraft loves this league and what it's done for him and the New England Patriots. So I didn't think Robert Kraft would go the distance on this one. He didn't want to litigate, certainly not against the league, his brethren, and certainly not against the commissioner, a man he supports wholeheartedly. And I don't think he wanted this to be the media circus and the media story forever. I don't think he wanted this to be drawn out any more than it had to be drawn out. He seems to be a somewhat humble person and a somewhat reasonable person, and didn't like being the center of the negative attention. So the back channel negotiation, I'm not surprised about at all. He is accepting the punishment meted out by the league. The Tom Brady matter is another matter altogether. Tom Brady, through the Players Union, is going to continue to contest the 4-game suspension. You believe the other shoe might drop soon, and we might find out that
this was part of the
negotiations. Yeah.
But I would say in response to you that Robert Kraft actually replaced Pat Bowlen as the head of broadcasting negotiating. Yes. So he has had a strong involvement in league policy in regard to broadcasting. Number 2, he stepped in when they had the last major differences between the Players Association and the NFL that could have led to a strike. He was a strong representative, a man of integrity, use that word, who people on both sides believed in. Number three, over the weekend, he was seen with the commissioner at a birthday party.
Yeah.
They were seen on a sofa, even to the point of hugging.
I believe they were making out.
I don't think that. If it were in Colorado,
they did hug it out.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they were hugging and talking, and there have been the back channel talks, and I think that. I wouldn't say he's a humble man. I mean, he's president of a major corporation in this country that makes a lot of money and makes razors and things of that sort. So I think that it was a case of he would have ended up suing himself, which is what Al Davis once did.
Yeah.
And Al Davis won his suit, and maybe Kraft could have won, but I think that it's most important to him that they get past this, which continues to drag on. All of these gates are named after Watergate, which was a complex in Washington, D.C. that's now been torn down.
A hotel, actually, yeah.
And Watergate brought this country to a standstill for almost 2 years. And I think that Kraft is as old as I am. He remembers that history of how that was a 2-year blight in the American history.
And he didn't want this to be a 6-month story.
Yeah, which it's already developed into.
Yes.
We're talking about from January, February, March, 5
6
months
months more, I should say.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right, that NFL update sponsored by the Fantasy Sports Combine. Check this out. Very cool. The Fantasy Sports Combine is the ultimate experience for serious fantasy sports fans. If you play fantasy football, check this out. It's coming up this summer. It's going to be at the Wynn Las Vegas from July 17th to the 19th. And not only will you be there, but you're going to get fantasy advice from Adam Schefter and Matthew Berry of ESPN, from Brandon Marshall, the wide receiver, from Mike Shanahan, from Mike Ditka. They're all going to be there, as well as many, many more big-name football stars and broadcasters. They'll help you get an edge for your fantasy football team. Woody might even go, but he's going to have to pay his own way. So get your tickets today at FantasySportsCombine.com. Yes, FantasySportsCombine.com. The people that put it together are local people from here in Denver. I know them. I vouch for them. This is going to be a lot of fun, and Woody and I might end up going as well.
And I should.